Hey, eighth graders, we are on page 84 of your math binder. You'll notice that we skipped over page 83. That's because I wanted to use page 84 instead. If we do get back to page 83, that is, we'll have in the next couple of days. I'm not quite sure if we will. But anyway, so we're on page 84, and I want you to look at problem number 1. Zach starts walking home. When he's about halfway home, he realizes that he forgot his math book, so he turns around and runs back to school. After retrieving his math book, he realizes that he's going to be late, so he sprints home. So your job is to sketch a graph to match each of the following stories, and you're going to label key features of your graph. So let's see at what is going on here. What can we say on our graph was the first thing that happened was Zach? Well, he starts by walking home. Now, something that I want you to add into your paper, if it's not there already, I actually can't remember, but I think it's written on your paper that this is distance from home. Okay, so that is our distance from home. Let me just double check that your paper has that. It doesn't, but you are going to write it in there. So if that is his distance from home, you are going to show that he is walking toward home. So if he's walking toward home, you can't say that he started at home. We cannot put our dot down here at the bottom. We need to put our dot up here at the very top. And he is walking home, and about halfway he left his math book. So we are going to show walking, and I'm going to make my walking line a straight line that, if you see, it's pretty far slanted. That's what makes it walking. If I did it like this, that would be like running really fast, but I'm not running. I'm going to leave it. Maybe I'll be a little less generous. Maybe Zach's a slow walker. Okay, he forgot his math book, so he ran back to school. Now, here is a bad idea of what I could do next. This is not running back to school. This would be walking back to school. You don't want to do that. You want to make Zach run. So he must have flipped right around, and running makes him go straight up like this. Now I'm trying to make sure that I end it at the same place that he started. That's how he gets back to school. Okay, then he retrieves his math book. You get to decide whether or not you want to make Zach immediately turn around. Now, if we have him immediately turn around, that means that he literally grabbed his math book off the floor and started going back away from school again. So I'm going to give him a second to pick up his math book. Maybe he took like a little 5-second break there. That was supposed to be a flat line. It kind of looks like it's not a flat line, but he retrieved his math book, and then he realizes that he's going to be late, so he sprints home. Now, how does sprinting compare to walking, running? Well, sprinting would be even faster than running. So if this is such a speedy, fast run, I'm going to have to sprint even faster than that. Holy smokes. Zach, you are so fast. So when we go to make ourselves some notes here, I'm going to say walks for this first one. I don't know if I can move this. Maybe. So Zach walked there. What else did Zach do? Well, he ran. And then up here, he stopped to grab book. And then what's this last thing? Well, he sprinted home. So there's my, maybe I should fix this one. Instead of saying he ran, we could say he ran. Oh, it's not letting me, never mind. Anyway, what I was gonna say is you could write in there that he ran back towards school, but this looks fine. We are going to leave it like this, where we labeled all the key features of this graph. Okay, so let's have you then read this next story. Problem number 2. Mr. Bodily decided to go for a little jog. He started at Riverview and he ran all the way to the Lee Mart. For those of you who don't know, the Lee Mart is that gas station on the corner of 700 and I don't know what that other street is. I'm really bad with street numbers, but it's the gas station that people go to sometimes in the morning. So Mr. Bodily decided to go for a jog, and he started at Riverview and ran all the way to the Lee Mart gas station. He passed out from the exercise for about 10 minutes. Then he turned around and very slowly walked back to school. Your job over here, we are going to write on this, take your pencil. We are going to write that this is Mr. Bodily's distance from school. So with that said, I want you to figure out where your dot starts. Did Mr. Bodily start at school, or did he start away from school? And I want you to draw the rest of it around here. When you are done drawing, please push pause, or excuse me, push play again and we'll go over it. So right now you're gonna push pause. All right, so let's go over this one. Mr. Bodily decided to go for his jog. Now a jog is a little bit faster than walking. And it said he started at Riverview. So if his distance from school is at the very bottom, he is at school. And he ran all the way to the Lee Mart. So we are going to give Mr. Bodily a generous jog here. And I'm gonna make it like this steep. Okay, now what happened? I don't know why it's so weird at the bottom there, just ignore that. What happened at the Lee Mart? Well, he passed out for 10 minutes. So I'm going to show that Mr. Bodily passed out for 10 minutes. So it's a flat line because he's not getting further from school, but he's also not getting closer to school. Then he turned around. Now this would be a bad idea because this would say that he jogged back to school. But it doesn't say that. It says he turned around and slowly walked back. So I need to not do a jog. I have to do like the slowest walk. Maybe I should give Mr. Bodley like the slowest walk. Should we do that? Yeah. So what this shows is Mr. Bodley jogged, then he walked at the top, and then he slowly walked back. So I'm going to put my labels in here. Jogged and like away from school. Up here, we're going to say that he passed out. And then over here on this side, we are going to say slow walk back. There we go. That is what Mr. Bodily did on this one. Okay, let's look at the next one. Yes, I just cleared the entire screen because I am going to scroll this down now. Okay, if you look at problem number 3, a biker is riding up a hill at a constant speed. Then he hits a downhill and coasts down the hill, picking up speed as he descends. At the bottom of the hill, he gets a flat tire. Sketch a graph that shows the distance traveled by the biker as a function of time. So I want you to push pause. Before you push pause, let's put our label on the side here. We are going to make this the distance from the start. So the distance from the start. Okay, try to sketch that out about the biker riding the hill. Read through the story again if you need to and get your sketch on your paper. Make sure you're using pencil just in case you have some mistakes you want to fix. Push pause. All right, hopefully you drew the biker scenario. If not, you can pause it and do that real quick. But let's go over this one. A biker is riding up a hill at a constant speed. He then hits a downhill and coasts down the hill, picking up speed as he descends. At the bottom of the hill, he gets a flat tire. So here's a very common mistake that people often do. They say biking up the hill and then back down the hill. That is a picture of a hill, a great picture of a hill, in fact, but that is not what it asked for. This is the distance from the start. What that would mean is you're going away and then you slow down and then you go back toward the front of the hill, which is not what we're doing. So I am going to have this look a little bit different. It says it's riding up the hill at a constant speed. It can't look curved. Curved would mean that you start fast and slow down. So if I am riding up a hill at a constant speed, let's give this biker a little bit of credit. Maybe we'll give them a speed like this. They're going up the hill at a constant speed. And then it says, then he hits a downhill and coasts down the hill, picking up speed as he descends. So what would that look like? Well, that is not going to be a constant speed. That is going to be a speeding up picture. Now, I know Ms. McGowan talked to you about this, but it is going to look something like this, where you start off, I'm trying to get my pen on here. You start off slow and then you speed up. So it's going to be, that is a really bad curve. Like this, slow, then speeding up. At the bottom of the hill, he gets a flat tire. So what happens when you get a flat tire? Well, you can't keep riding. So this is going to be flat like this. Now notice, I never went back to the very start because this person was traveling away from the start the entire time. It doesn't look like a hill because I didn't ask you to draw a picture of a hill. I asked you to graph their distance from the very beginning. which is why it looks like all this stuff that has to do with speeds and going away from the start. All right, let's go to problem number 4. Mr. Kaufman was an Olympic skier. I don't know if you already knew that about him, but it's a pretty cool fun fact. He starts by riding the chairlift to the top of the hill. He takes a few minutes to mentally prep at the top of the hill, and then he shreds as fast as possible. Halfway down, he hits a rock and falls. He decides to take it easy and he pizza slices the rest of the way. So let's talk about this, because if you've never been skiing before, there's a couple things you're going to want to know. Riding, first of all, let's make this the distance from the bottom of the hill. It's the distance from the bottom of the hill. So a couple things that you are going to want to know. Let's highlight some of these. First of all, when you ride a chairlift, the chairlift goes a single speed and it goes up the hill. So it goes away from the bottom of the hill. Shredding means going really fast. You probably know what it means to hit a rock and fall. And then when it says take it easy and pizza slice, if you've ever skied before, that means you kind of make your skis look like a pizza slice and you go really slow. So that's going to be a different speed than shredding. So your job right now is to push pause and you are going to sketch Mr. Kaufman on his ski hill. All right, let's go over this. So when he is riding the chairlift is going to go at a constant speed to the top of the hill. So I'm going to have this start. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I thought I had my straight line. Whoops. Okay, this is going to go at a constant speed from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill. And that is my chairlift. Okay, at the top, he mentally preps. So while he's mentally prepping, he's not moving. So this is going to be a flat at the top of the hill. Okay, then it said that Mr. Kaufman was shredding as fast as possible, and halfway down, he hits a rock and falls. So we are going to show a really fast speed. Obviously, it's not like, that's more than halfway, by the way. When we show his really fast speed here, it's not going to be like straight up and down. It is going to be like just a slightly less than straight up and down. Because remember, you can't be in multiple places at the same time. That would be impossible. So what happens when you hit a rock? Well, you fall and you don't move further from the top or closer to the top. Okay, so after that, it says that he pizza sliced the rest of the way. That means he goes way slower. We're going to show Mr. Kaufman going extremely slow at the end there. And that's what Mr. Kaufman's graph would look like. I probably was a little too generous on this chairlift speed. Chairlifts probably go a lot slower than that. Yeah, but that would be a really fast, terrifying chairlift. Okay, so what is your job after you finish this? You can see that there's one more question here. On the last question, it says, make up your own story. So you are going to come up with a story and you're going to write your story over here on your paper. And then your graph is going to match that. Your story has to have at least 3 things that happen. So 3 different things in your story. And I'm going to write that here just in case you didn't hear me properly. 3 different, I'm going to call them events. So I don't know, some sort of story that kind of matches something that you saw up here. You can use some of those as examples to help you figure out what to write about. And then you're going to draw your graph on this right side. When you are done, you are going to be taking a picture of this last one and you're going to be submitting it as today's for today's points. So do your best on that, and good luck, 8th graders. So let me know if you've got any questions, or let your math teacher know if you need some help coming up with a story.